So hi, my name's Rebecca and I work for the Street Impact team in Bristol, and we work with a cohort of clients who have very high and complex needs. We work with people from rough sleeping through to people who have their own tendencies, and within that group we have people who are at high risk of having an overdose. So I started in this role about just over a year ago, and because of the client group that we work with, it was very important that we had the necessary training to give me the skills and the knowledge to be able to help clients if they're ever in crisis. So not only my clients, but any other members of our homeless community. So we work quite closely with BDP anyway, and we have a BDP worker working in our team. So it was one of the first pieces of training that I actually did. So we were in contact, we came and had a tour of BDP, we met Carmine, and we quite quickly got onto the training as soon as we could. So the training was really interesting. I think it was half a day. There was quite a small group of us, which was really good, so we could interact with each other and with Carmine. And he talked us through every step of the way. I was very nervous to begin with, having never used a needle or anything like that before. But he took us really well through every step of the process. So the bit that I remember most is using the orange. As a way when we unwrapped the Naloxone and were able to use that as a feeling of how it would feel to inject somebody. I didn't know if I would ever have to use Naloxone, but I always carry it in my bag for any eventuality. It was actually it was a very dark, miserable day. I'd just finished my working day essentially and was supposed to be walking back home. I remembered that I had to do one last job for the day, and as I was walking up a street I noticed a male on a bench. He was presenting quite unusually. I kind of looked at him once and thought, right, I'm going to come back and check on him. When I came back and checked on the male, it became obvious quite quickly that he wasn't responding. And at that point in time, I was near shops, so I was able to summon over another female and asked her to call an ambulance, as I realised this situation would need first aid to begin with. Some other people from around the area were indicating that he might have used drugs, but we weren't able to identify what. It progressed quite rapidly from there. We had to take the male from the bench, lay him on the floor. We realised that his breathing was laboured. His breathing started to severely deteriorate. At that point, I had the Naloxone. It was basically ready, and I was ready to go. I was waiting for a sign that it should happen, and I just realised that I had to go for it because there was no point in waiting. And I remembered the training, and there would be no harm in me administering. So I just went ahead and administered the first dose. I remember the ambulance coming. I remember the 2 minutes having elapsed and administering dose number 2. Quite quickly after that, the male stood up. So as I remembered from the training, the going into withdrawal happened really, really quickly. And as per the training, I kind of remembered he's going to get up, he's probably going to be quite aggressive, and everything was in my head, so I kind of knew what to expect. I knew that we probably wouldn't be able to get him into the ambulance, but it became quite obvious that it was that second dose of Naloxone that I believed, that he came around, Yeah. I mean, it felt really weird afterwards because the scene had escalated so quickly and then dissipated so quickly, and then I was left on my own to kind of think about what happened. But when I got home, I suddenly realised I might have just saved somebody's life, and that was quite incredible. And, I spoke to my boss about it, and then I was really grateful when I was able to get in contact with Carmine and to say, can we just talk about it? Because the emotions are very weird because you don't get to see that person afterwards necessarily. I don't know if I'll ever see him again. So I went through quite a lot of emotions around it, and I was really grateful to come and have a debrief about it, to talk through it, to see if I could have done any more or any less. Just felt like talking through it with the person who gave me the training was really invaluable. And now that I know that I've done it once, I now feel prepared to be able to go into another situation like that and to be able to do it on my own if there's nobody else around. I would have attempted some type of first aid, but I think in the time, although the ambulance arrived quickly, I think it would have deteriorated quite rapidly, and I could have seen somebody die in the middle of the street. And all I could really do was to do some CPR and first aid, but I believe that from my experience, it was quite obvious what happened and what the effects were. Yeah, save somebody's life.
Great.
Just do it. Just absolutely, everybody should have it. I don't think it even matters necessarily whether you work specifically in the sector that we do. I think it's amazing training to be on, and the awareness of having this little kit that you can carry around, this little portable kit. It doesn't weigh anything, but the benefits that it could have, and passing that on. And I think that the more people that are aware of it, the more people that can be trained to use it, I think it can only be a benefit. It can't do any harm, as you said, by having it on you and using it. If it's not, I just can't see any disadvantages to not doing it. So I just recommend that everybody does it, because you could also save a life, and I think that's really important. I'm restocked, and that was after I'd spoken to Carmine. He said, come in, filled in a form. They wanted feedback, so it was quite nice to be able to come in and to describe what had happened. And then I was able to be issued with another kit the same day. So it was such an easy process, really easy to do, really grateful that it's, on our doorstep and that the service is here. I just think more people need to just sign up and just do it. It's great.
And it's free.
And it's free.